Welcome to Life Unpacked. I'm Dasha,
I'm Diana.
and we're back, baby.
Welcome and happy to be here, girl.
Always a pleasure. I am looking forward to discussing our topic today, which is
Does the apple fall far from the tree?
so many things we can discuss with that one.
Yeah, does the apple fall far from the tree? I'm going to say yes and no. Nature versus nurture, a little of both.
And the other question is, should it fall far from the tree?
Well,
Cases,
in what way?
we are all products of our environment, products of how we were raised, how we saw our parents to be with each other, and how we saw our parents to be with us, how we saw the community around us being with one another.
Yeah.
And that becomes instilled in our sort of in our life, where when we grow up, we either tend to repeat it or we rebel against it and become the opposite of what we had when we were kids. Yeah, so the question is, should you maybe you should fall far from the tree because you don't want to repeat the same patterns that your parents had.
Well, one, you have to recognize that those patterns are bad.
Mhm.
You have to be like, oh, I don't want that. And then do something different. For example, I could only speak from experience. This girl that I lived in my former building, her father unfortunately was an alcoholic. And she told me, she's like, I'm never drinking because he has this problem. I understand. Versus another person who may also fall into addiction, which is, we got to bring up genetics. As I was preparing for this episode, genetics is a very big thing. This is what I have, and it's because my parents gave it to me, but there's nothing I could do about it. But there is, you're saying. That's literally generational trauma. That goes generation and generation, and then you have to be the one to break the trauma, and that comes with awareness that something's not right. But yeah, you do inherit these things. We're talking about things in the environment of habits. But I did do some research, and some personality things are inherited, like shyness. Oh, I wrote upside down. Okay. Okay. So there's a saying that genetics load the gun, but your environment pulls the trigger, right? So you can have an addicted personality because it's a genetic thing, a dopamine thing. Don't quote me. But if you don't grow up around drugs and there's no susceptibility to taking those drugs, you may not become an addict.
That's actually quite fascinating. Wow.
Yeah. So here, I wrote it down. The child might inherit a shy temperament, but with supportive parenting, they can become more confident. And when I wrote that down, I'm like, but they inherited it from their parents. One of their parents, maybe. But two parents.
But the parents are breaking the cycle. So maybe it's
Yes, if they're be like, we're shy, you're not shy, you're going to drama camp, girl or boy. There needs to be for the new generation the will to be different. The will to see, okay, this is where I come from, this is how I was raised, I don't like it, and I want to do better for myself.
yes.
And then they will roll away because they're on a hill. And so the apple will roll down the hill away from their
But
parents.
see, I would,
But you always love them.
and that's what I was saying, is if you look at it that way, you're going to have resentment and you're going to say, well, they were like this and I'm going to be different. I think the key here is to recognize that whatever tree you were a part of came from the roots that were on their own. You don't get to choose what family you're born into, what
Correct.
culture you're born into. So the parents or that environment, they are
The
who
products
they
of their
are.
environment.
They're the products of their environment. And once you realize that they were dealing with trauma and they unfortunately did not have the capacity to break it or have the mental stamina or emotional intelligence to understand it,
Mhm.
then you're able to forgive and see that they tried. Most of the parents that are abusive, I imagine they were abused themselves.
Right.
You don't just start hitting your kids, you learned it.
Yeah, for sure. You did learn it. And you were saying like that they did their best. And I wrote, uh, your parents can only teach you to the capacity of their emotional intelligence.
That's too deep for me.
Well, to the capacity of their emotional intelligence, to whatever their ceiling is, that's where they are. And
Oh.
they cannot, like, until they evolve,
Mm-hmm.
they cannot understand what you're saying. I see a
And
lot of kids who are like, oh, my mom doesn't understand. It's so complicated, but it's a different generation.
when you're a kid, you always think you know more than your parents.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of guilt to separate. I'm in a culture I talk to my mom every day, not on the phone or we text message, but not everyone does that. And so I don't know how other people do it. It'd be nice if somebody called in and told us about how often they talk with their mom.
I think it's an immigrant thing. Immigrants are the ones that have closer ties to their family because that's just how we were. It's different here in the US. What's different here is you go to college and move away. In where we're
I
from,
mean, I
stay in the
can't
area.
say I live in in my community, our neighbor friends, all of their parents come to visit. Their relationships are sustained, which the older I get, I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
Mhm.
That's great. And if I'm like, oh, I don't really get along with my mom, I'm like, oh, that sucks for you and your mom. And they'd be like, oh no, she's the worst. The hope is that you get along with your mom. Not all moms are just like the people who birthed you. If they don't treat you right, I suppose you have a reason not to engage.
If they are toxic, sure. But I also,
But like if the mom emotional intelligence ceiling is low, she doesn't see that she's toxic. So she's still trying her best. She cannot see that what she's doing. How do you cut that off if she means well?
yeah, how do you cut that off? But also, you continue to put yourself in a situation where you're around someone that's toxic towards you.
Yeah, that's where that term that the young people didn't coin but use all the time, boundaries.
Mm, that's it. Yeah,
So it's boundaries and
boundaries.
sometimes hard
Yeah,
boundaries.
yeah.
These are all so hard because your parents, they raised you. But not all parents are good. Not all parents are amazing. We
I think
cannot think all parents are like our parents.
it's very hard being a parent. And our parents also made mistakes. The way that I try to be with my kids is I try to go back and think about all the things that my parents have done that um, I look at a positive light. And then I think, what things did I miss? What things could have, if they were different, then my life would have been different. So, for example, I imagine it's all Russian moms. You don't really talk about things. When I was growing up, I didn't really talk to her about things. She had no idea what I was doing or what was happening.
I no, my mom never told me anything, actually. Now that it comes to think of it, this is a pain point. Go on. So I tell the girl everything. She knows it all.
And I talk to my daughter too about how she needs to be careful about life lessons that my parents never gave me. I went out and I learned them on the streets, the life lessons.
Same. I've said before that I feel like I raised myself. I didn't grow up on the streets, but
Mm.
like immigrant parents. My parents came here when they were older. They had no idea, like for a 13-year-old girl in America, like even to begin to understand like how to help me. So we lived it. So now we could tell them they lived a different life.
But I also don't want to diminish my childhood. It was amazing. I
No,
actually,
it was truly amazing, but it was a 90s different time. You can't compare. I love the way I was raised, but again, I think about it all the time. You cannot go back.
right. So
You
that's
can,
so that's one of the things I look at and I say, okay, I'm going to do this differently. How can I be a better version of my parents based on my life and how I am now, what I wish or what I'm grateful for? When it comes to my childhood, I actually think they shielded me too much.
I agree.
They
I was
shielded me
protected.
they shielded me too much where I grew up in this bubble of love. And when I went into the real world, I was like, what's happening?
It is very hard to cope where somebody's like not treating you like the royalty that you know yourself to be.
There are a lot of people that they're liars, they're cheaters, they're scammers. People pretend to be a friend, but they're not.
Well, my mom did used to say, "Don't forget I'm your bestest friend. There's no other
Mhm.
friend like me." I
Did
get
you
it
believe
now.
her?
Did I? I
You,
do.
okay, well, you like, whatever, mom.
I might have been like, whatever, mom, because I did have best friends. But now I see how my mom is like my mom.
She's a constant.
There's no relationship like a mom. Do I tell her things that I tell my friend? Not all the time, but no like offense to my mom. I don't want her to worry. So I'm momming her now. She doesn't think I needed to know everything. She doesn't need to know everything. But there's nothing to know. My life is pretty standard. Nothing for her to not know. There is a lot of pressure to try to live up to what your parents have done. And you could go the route of like working with them and maybe being equally successful, equally awesome, or the pressure gets too much, breaking the mold and moving on, and how to break the chains of your past and how to move forward. You are a self identified toxic positivity person. And so I'd love to hear what you have to say about like breaking a generational curse, a generational trauma, family to family, how you as a person would begin to stop things.
I think it's very hard to do it on your own. You would need a partner that is strong and supportive enough to assist in the journey because it's a lot to constantly tell yourself to go against what you want to do.
It's a journey.
It's,
Yeah.
you need someone to help and to be there by your side. And that ties into choosing a partner that is on the same wavelength as you, on the same journey as you, where you two, maybe the trees are from the same orchard. That was a good one.
That was very good. I think it's time for a shimmy. Where's your
I didn't take it. I'm going to tell you why. I didn't take it. I don't think I can use it anymore. So
Oh my god, somebody said something? You got carrot?
no, no, I didn't get Karen.
I want to know. Oh my god. Let's call the ambulance for him. I said let's call the ambulance for him. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, that was so refreshing.
The orchard. I think that's the way, which means you should have made the right decision when choosing a partner.
Yeah. Life is like so hard.
But when choosing a partner, you want to choose someone that has the same values or
I'm going to be like devil's advocate. These are things that you're trying to break. Chances are you have to still be aware that you have these things because otherwise you're going to like pick a partner that goes into your like biggest life's trauma. The partner that you choose, you hope your partner's not the one who is poking.
that's the only thing I could think of. Having support from friends, siblings. Your siblings would probably be the best one because they also grew up in the same environment as you did. And they would be able to not only validate you wanting to break the cycle, but you would be able to do it together.
Or they're like, you think you're better than us. My ADHD mind allows me to see every single other option. Ultimately, we come from good families that we're not trying to roll away from. But when I think about different things in day to day life that maybe, because we're always trying to strive for better, and it could
Mhm.
be just something even small that you do every day because you did it when you were a kid and you're still doing it, which is like a-okay. Like, no shade. That's like, oh, it's time for me to move past this. And then that conversation you have with your head, oh, but I've always done it. My mom's done it. Do I think I'm better just because you're moving away from something that no longer serves you.
I don't think it's better. I think it's growth.
Oh, I agree, but the people who are not there yet on an energetic
I see.
level or frequency is just a little off, and you're like evolving and going away and growing out of their smaller than you are now space.
It's freedom. You sort of break the chains of your past.
And
And
it
you
feels so good, especially if you've been thinking about it all the time. Like, why do I always do this? And it goes back to, well, it's a habit now, ingrained in you for years and years and years, and you broke the habit.
I don't know what it's like for someone that grew up in a toxic environment. I don't know.
Same. I only know through people I've only spoken to. I feel like people who've grown up in harder households are more resilient.
Hmm.
They figured things out,
And what was the thing
they
that we
find
said?
solutions.
What was the thing that we said as a parent you have to give to your child?
Yeah, the resilience. Yeah, I learned how to fend for myself from a young age. That's what it is.
There's a silver lining in everything.
Let me tell you, I feel like I'm resilient because I grew up in the streets. Ocean Parkway, look it up. It's not really the streets, okay? But like they were streets. It was a 3-lane road. I could have been splat, okay? And my daughter right now is not growing up in that environment. I would never let her walk outside in Brooklyn by herself. But at her age, I was walking to school by myself.
Were you really?
Yeah, it was a different time. Don't get into the car with strangers.
We knew not to get into a car with strangers when we were teenagers. Why do we feel the need to tell our kids now, don't get into the car with strangers? How did we know not to do it?
No, my mom told me. My mom always told me also not to take any candy from strangers. She tried. They weren't strangers, they were new friends. What are you talking about? I know them. Anyways, but like I don't want that for my daughter. I'm gonna tell that to her too.
Right.
The genetics really interests me about the personality traits that we have that are so micro and macro. And then like when you have twins and they're complete opposites. I think for the most part, a lot of people stick with like families. Families exist, so you stick around with your family. And you're like them in some sort of way.
Are you? Like the family? I mean, there's always a black sheep
There is.
person that doesn't conform.
Do you have one?
I barely have a family, so we don't have enough people for there to be a black sheep.
Yeah, I have a small family too.
One thing, if I could change my tree, I would have a larger family, but I wasn't able to.
More branches.
It would have been nice to have. But I'm also a different case because I had more branches. They're not there, so it's different. It's a little bit different for me.
Gratitude for what is there and new customs that you build, but to always kind of be growing, changing, but also not to always be changing and to like accept what is. Not everything is always bad.
No, not everything's always best. But I think giving your family grace while keeping boundaries is the way to deal with the tree and dealing with how you are. You also don't want to cut off your family because then you're cutting off family for your kids. But I guess if they're toxic and awful, then you don't want your kids to be in that environment. I don't know.
Right, exactly. So like I think it's like a dimmer, right? Like it's not a light switch on and off. And I'm just thinking to the things that I've heard people say. Right. What's the worst thing that a person could do to not be able to see your kids? For me is if you're like do hate speech, right? Outwardly do hate speech about people. I don't want my daughter to be around that. So if that's something that you do, like go for it, like whatever, I'm not going to be around that. That's a boundary, right? Maybe I'll see you. I'm an adult, but my child is not going to be around this kind of behavior.
Yeah.
That's not a real story. It's just an example.
Yeah.
Versus like and everyone has their things versus oh this person's like so annoying, they're like they talk so much every time and they're love, like you said, so it's boundaries, but socializing is important, this family is important, and you make do. You don't have to like spend all of your time with them, especially like after a certain age, like you're out of the home, you
Yeah.
see each other during holidays, it's just Thanksgiving, and sure it's dreadful, but how awful are they? Like, you
Yeah.
know, I like it. I just It's dreadful because that's what I see on the internet. Like, the memes. Oh, I gotta
Yeah,
go to
yes.
family.
For me, I'm always excited.
I'm excited. I'm happy to see my family.
Mhm.
And yeah, people like put you in a box, right? They don't evolve. They might joke about you, like which something you did 10 years ago. But
Mhm.
like what's the alternative? Sitting at home?
When there are
Maybe.
kids involved, it's on us to teach them boundaries. It's on us to teach them the importance of family. If they don't see how it's important, then why would they care about you when you become older? Is that the whole point of having kids so they take care of you when you get older?
That's what my mom said. She said, "Who else is gonna have tea with you when you're older?" I'm like, what makes you think she's gonna want to make have tea with me when I'm older? Family is important as long as they're like loving, kind, supportive. And if they make you feel like garbage, you got choices to make, I suppose.
You had choices to make.
And then you have a chosen family because that's why Friendsgiving became a thing. I'm sure there's research behind it, right? You move to a new city, people in Manhattan, right? They move to a new city, their families in California, where you can have Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving.
So true.
And friends could be like family, which we know. It's somebody who's going to be like there for you. And we have gone off course, but the apple does fall from the tree within our friend group because we're all different. We're like a tree of apples of different kinds. It's like, wow, that's a freaky tree. That's a weird tree.
Should you continue being involved if you have a friends tree?
Yeah, you still need the family.
But what makes somebody a family? It's just blood. You're just related by blood. You are not your best friends. Most of the time, you're not best friends with your cousins, but you're best friends with someone else. You choose. You don't choose your family. That's the difference.
It matters how toxic they are, I guess.
Mhm.
But I think both are valuable. The clutches of the guilt of, oh, that's your blood family, you grew up with them, entraps you to that being the right thing. So like even I, as butterfly and liberal in definitions as I am, is still like, no, like if there was, oh, do you go to your friends Thanksgiving or your families? Obviously I want to go with my friends. I think changing something that's innately in you is very hard. It requires a lot of effort, but is not impossible. And so if you, the person, would like to move further from the tree of things that you don't like, there is room for that. And it is possible to do growth, even while maintaining still the relationship with the people that you're trying to be different. Like it's a new era, like literally different generations, new technology, new things.
While having boundaries, which is what
Yeah.
which is what is going to help you. Because if you don't have boundaries, that's when you really start to deteriorate.
And I used to see boundary coaches. Like when you're used to not having boundaries, then to put one up to be like, no, that alone could be a journey for how long of like your ability to want to do it and like be like discomfortable. If you're okay being discomfortable, you too can evolve past your previous version.
And you can love your family, but not love their life. And
Yeah,
you can be different. It doesn't, you are not trapped in repeating the same trauma that you grew up with,
yeah. There's always a way out.
which is so beautiful to think about. You're free. Every day we wake up and we have a choice
It's true. Sounds very woo, but it's true.
in every way, in the way you are with others, in the way you are with your kids.
Every day I try. Every day is a new day to try. Yes, show yourself some grace. Everything's gonna be okay. I hope.
I think the first thing is just recognizing the trauma, if you had, recognizing the past, recognizing the current, and
I haven't said it in a long time. Go to therapy.
you haven't said it a lot, actually.
All the previous episodes, go to therapy, figure it out.
Figure it out.
Buy a clue, I said to myself when I was confused.
And not harboring hate or resentment for whatever you had to go through.
And in therapy, helping you get over that to live a happy, flourishing life. I think when you're angry, like I've been angry at my parents before, like now I'm at a place now where like they did their best, like ride or die. I love them so much. I don't even have an ounce of anything. Doesn't that feel good? I don't blame them. They were not perfect. Far from it now, but I look at them with rose-colored glasses. I'm like, I love my mom. I love my dad. You too can get there.
That's
You know?
beautiful.
Or be like, no, they did their best, but I'm okay.
They did their best, and I'm going to do my best.
And my best is going to be better than their best, which is what you're trying to go for, right? So we're not shading anyone.
No,
There's no worst here.
no, no.
There's no worst, but just operating at a different frequency where you have more knowledge for life.
I'm a big proponent of not holding on to any resentment or any bad feelings. I refuse to have them anywhere in my body.
I
So
think that's a great idea because it makes you sick, actually. And there's research that backs this up. And in fact, I would like to have our next episode be about that. Why you need to release it. That's why we shimmy. Like, that's like if you just like release it, because if it stays on you, and this is science, it can cause disease. So forgive them. Forgive them. They know not what they do.
yeah, forgive them and try to rehabilitate that tree. And
Rehabilitate that trait. I like that. Go forth with your brilliance. Go on.
banging them out today.
Go on.
No,
Rehabilitate. Go on.
rehabilitate it
For your own self.
for your own self.
Be the landlord of your mind. Nobody lives there for free.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think,
I think we're done here.
and we're done here.
That was so good, girl. That was so good.
Until next time.
Till next time.